Hey guys, welcome back to Skill Tech Club. My name is Maruti and I'll be going through another Azure AI topic today. Now, so far you understood what is Azure AI Foundry service, you understood LLMs, you understood that how we can actually use prompt engineering techniques also with that. Today we are going to focus on a very important topic called fine-tuning. Most of the time when you have LLMs available, you want to fine-tune them as per your requirement, most of the time with your own training data set. This training data set is basically going to be applied on your LLM, and then it's going to train that particular model with that additional data which you are going to provide. Now, how exactly we can do fine-tuning and how this fine-tuning is going to help you, that's what you're going to understand today in this video. But without wasting time, let's get started with practical labs. So I am in my Azure AI Foundry portal. I do not have any projects right now. In this case, I am going to create a new project as usual. Now, this time when I'm creating a project, I have to make sure one thing, that I'm going to create a project which is in a specific Azure region. I hope you already know Azure regions, and Microsoft Azure Cloud is actually having more than 60 plus regions available across the globe. So I hope you know the fundamentals of Azure Cloud. If you do not know the fundamentals of Azure Cloud, I strongly recommend you to check our AI-900 video series, which is going to take you through the journey of Azure Cloud learning. If you're familiar, I am going to choose a region which is East US 2. You can see right now, I'm trying to create a new project and a new hub. The name of the hub I'm giving Maruti Hub with some number at the end of this. Location I want to choose East US 2 only, because when you need to do fine-tuning of your GPT model, you have to provision a certain resources in that particular region. So I'm going to use East US 2. This is going to connect with my newly created Azure OpenAI service. I'm fine with that. And I'm going to click on next. This is my hub name. This is my location, East US 2. This is where I'm interested right now. I'm going to click on create. Now, obviously, project creation is going to take some time. And while we are waiting for the project creation, you know what you need to do. If you have not subscribed to this particular channel, I request you to please subscribe and hit that bell icon so that anytime when we launch a new video, you're not going to miss it. Also, I want to request you one more thing. If you find that these videos are valuable and is going to be important for some of your colleagues and friends, feel free to share our videos in your social media profiles. Thank you so much if you have already done this. I am getting a couple of personal messages in our channel that people are liking these videos, and I want to thank you for that. Now, once the project is created, we'll move forward with fine-tuning. But while the project is actually getting created, I want to tell you one more thing. This is an official lab document, which I'm going to share it with you in the description of this particular video. And in that lab document, you will find a link of this particular training dataset. Now, as you can see right now, this URL is coming from Microsoft Learning. So basically, it's a GitHub repository of Microsoft Learning, from where I'm going to take this one document, which is helping me to do the fine-tuning of my model. Now, this is some travel and hotel related document, and this document is in the JSON-L format. I request you to please go through this link and then download this particular file in your computer. Make sure while saving this file in your computer, you're going to save it in JSON-L format, not .txt. So you can basically hit this URL, you can do Control S. While saving this file, just add double quotes at this beginning and end of this particular file name. And that's going to save with this particular extension which you want. So just do it. And once you have saved your file, this file will be useful in our fine-tuning of the model. Now, let's get back to Azure AI Foundry portal, because very soon the project and hub creation is going to be done. And once it is done, we'll move forward. Yes, my project is created. It's just loading that page. And once this page is loaded, this is a newly created project. So remember, I do not have any kind of deployments inside this. The location of the project is East US 2, and it's successfully created. The first thing which I'm going to do is I will go to my model catalog section. In the model catalog section, you know we have so many new models which are available. In the list of these models, recently I saw one of the coolest model of recent time, which is DeepSeek. You can see right now, even DeepSeek R1 is also available in Azure AI portal. So this is something which is really cool. If you are interested in learning DeepSeek, with Azure AI, just comment down that in the chat box and I'll create a separate video on that. Right now, I want to search for some of the GPT models. So I'm going to choose GPT-35 and we're going to pick one of the model, let's say GPT-35 Turbo. Now remember, this time when I'm selecting this model, my goal is not to deploy the model and trying some kind of a chat associated with that. Instead of deploying the model, I want to fine tune this model. So I'm going to take an existing LLM and then I'm going to apply my training data set on that. And then using this combination, I'm going to train that model. Basically, that process is known as fine tuning. So on this page, you can see right now the model ID and the version and everything is available. I am going to click on fine tune, which is this tab. In the fine tune section, they're asking me select a model to fine tune, which is GPT-35 Turbo. The resource location is East US 2, as I mentioned. If you click on customize, you can change certain details of this if you want. But I do not want to do this. I'm happy with everything this, and I'm going to click on confirm. Now remember, when you're trying to do fine tuning of this model, there are a couple of configurational things which you have to specify. I request when you try this thing first time, you do as I'm showing you in the steps, or you follow the link which I'm sharing with you in the description. In the model suffix, I'm going to add some meaningful name like FT travel. Now this is going to be a fine tuning kind of a model for the travel related things. So I'm just adding a name FT travel. And because I'm following step-by-step instructions provided on the Microsoft Learning GitHub repository, I am just following steps exactly same. The connected AI service will be my Azure OpenAI service, which is already there. So I'm good with this. Let's click on next. In the training data, they're asking me, where is your training data set? I can actually have a plenty of options here. I can choose data in Azure Foundry, or I can choose files connected with the service, or I can choose a Azure Blob and other shared web location also. But in this case, I have a file available in my computer, so I'm going to choose upload files. And then I'm going to upload a file, which is this file available in my computer in the JSON-L format. So I'm just clicking on uploading the file. Remember, this is that file, travel fine-tune hotel.jsonl, which we have downloaded from that link. And yes, the size of the file is very small. It's just uploaded here. It's just taking some time in loading this below section. So I'll just wait for this process to complete. Okay, now you can see right now, this is one of the possible issue which can happen at this time. It's showing me that you may not have a sufficient permissions to upload the file. To upload a data file, you need to have a storage blob data owner role for the storage account, which is this one. Now, let me just quickly check this thing. So this is a common issue. I know what is the problem. The problem is with the role assignment. So we can actually manually also assign this role. But this role assignment is something which should be done automatically. Even because I have just tried to create this thing, maybe there are chances they will assign this role configuration in few minutes, and after a few minutes if you try, it will work. But as of now, I just want to check this thing. Now they are saying once the access permissions are updated on the file is verified, upload a new training and try again, or you can ask the admin for help. Now I have two options actually. I can actually manually go and do this thing. You can see we have storage blob data owner role. This is something on the storage account which is with this name we have to give. So let me go back to my Azure portal. I'll go to the resources section. We have a new resource group created for this project. We have a storage account which is mentioned there with this particular name. And in this storage account, I need to have that kind of access. Now, instead of doing this access management you want, which is actually going to be done automatically, we can do one thing. We can go to the container section. I can just create a new container here, giving a name of that container FT data, fine-tuning data, and I'm going to click on create. Once this FT data is created, I'll go inside that and I'll upload the same file here. I have uploaded this file here, and now I can directly refer this file. So I'm going back to my Azure AI Foundry portal where I was getting that issue. And now instead of upload file, I'm going to choose Azure Blob and other shared web location. This time I have to provide a file name and then I have to provide a file location here. Now this is going to ask me that, okay, you provide a file name and you provide input Azure Blob public URL, which is going to be publicly accessible URL. with SAS or any other shared web link if you have this thing. Now they are also specifying file must be in JSON-L. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a file name which is the exact same name which I want to give. So this is actually travel fine-tune hotel. This is actually the name of that particular file. So I'm just specifying this name here. And then in the file location, I'm going back to my FT data. I'm going to click on generate SAS. And now this is actually giving me that this is a one particular file for which you're trying to generate SAS. I will say that this is going to have the read permission or maybe create, write, delete permissions on this. And using this, I want to generate a SAS token. Basically, using this blob SAS URL, anyone can access this particular file with SAS. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to put it here in my file location. Remember, if you do not want to go with this way, you can actually make your container public by specifying the access modifier of that to container level, and then this is not going to be required. So you don't need a SAS token in that case. Now, I'm happy with this. I'll just click on import. Let's see if this is actually able to import that or not. It's showing me file imported successfully and it got the data also configured with this. This is cool. I'm going to move forward to next. Remember, these extra steps are not mentioned in that particular lab document. So if certain things are not working for you using the lab document, follow the video guidelines. Now, in the validation data, I can choose what kind of validation I want to associate with that. So if I have a separate set of validation data, I can provide that also. As of now, I don't have, so I'm just going to select none and I'll click on next. Task parameters, I think I'm keeping all the default things right now. I do not want to change it. I'll click on next and then I'll click on submit. When you do this, this is actually going to start the fine-tuning process and it can take some time. So maybe I can come back and I can check the status of this particular fine-tuning process. You can see right now it's showing me queued, but maybe after some time it's going to be completed. So I can come back here and I can check it later. As of now, I can move forward to my next step and then I'll come back to this one later on. Okay, now my fine-tuning is actually going on. I can click on this refresh and I can see whether it is started or it's just going to be done or not. So right now it is just queued. I'll wait for some time and then I'll come back and check it. Meanwhile, I want to do some other things. So I'm going back to my model plus endpoint section. In this model plus endpoint section, I am going to focus on the deployment of the model. So I'll click on deploy model. I'm going to click on deploy base model right now, not a fine-tune one. I'm going to deploy a base model. And in this base model configuration, I'm going to search for GPT-35 Turbo. So this is the same model which we have used for fine-tuning. I'm choosing this model. The task for this model is actually chat completion, which is perfectly fine. And I'm going to click on confirm. Basically, this is a model which is a base model, not a fine-tuned one. GPT-35 Turbo, deployment type is standard. In the customize section, I just want to reduce the token rate limit to 5,000. We do not want more than that for the lab purpose. And then we are going to disable dynamic quota and we'll click on deploy. So basically this is deploying my base model right now. My base model is successfully deployed. Let's click on open in playground. Yes. Once it is open in playground, as usual, the first thing which I'm going to ask is, what can you do? This is a very common question which I always ask to every model so that I can understand what kind of things it can do for me. The standard answer came because this is just a digital AI assistant, so it can help me with various things like this, which are mentioned in this particular completion. Now let's try a few things so that we can understand the base model and the fine-tuning model properly. So I'm going to change my system message now. The default system message is like this. You are an AI assistant that helps people to find information. Instead of this, I am going to put, you are an AI assistant that helps people plan their holidays. So this is something which I have changed. I'm going to click on apply changes, continue. And once the changes are applied, I'm going to ask the same question again. What can you do? Now it's showing me that I can assist with planning your holidays by suggesting destinations, helping you find accommodations, recommending activities and attractions. So this is actually changed because of the system message. I hope you know the purpose of system messages like this. Now let me try something better in the system message. So instead of this one, I'm saying that you are an AI travel assistant that helps people plan their trips. Your objective is to offer support for travel related inquiries such as visa requirements, weather forecast, local attractions, and cultural norms. You should not provide any hotel, flight, rental car, or restaurant recommendations. Ask engaging questions to help someone plan their trip and then think about what they want to do on their holidays. So basically this is going to ask an engaging question also at the end of the response. Okay, I'm going to click on apply changes, continue, and now I'm going to ask series of questions to this. So let me ask first, as per the document, where in Rome should I stay? Now they are saying when deciding where you stay in Rome, it's essential to consider your preferences and interests. They're giving me a description association with this. They're also showing me, do you have a specific budget in mind for accommodation? And if you're looking for that, you can go for lodging such as a hotel or Airbnb or maybe some boutique guest house. It's giving me a suggestion with that. Cool. Another point I'm putting, which is like, I'm mostly there for a food. Where should I stay to be within a walking distance of affordable restaurants? So this is my preference which I've given. And when I give this thing, it's going to ask me if you are a food lover and want to be with your walking distance or affordable with the delicious things and all. They are showing me you can try this, you can try that. They're saying you might consider staying in the neighborhoods like this area and the other area, or maybe Monty. So basically they are not giving me any hotels because it's mentioned here that any hotel, flight, rental car or restaurant recommendations you should not provide. So they are actually giving me the places, but they are not giving me any specific hotels or car rental kind of things and all. Also, give me a list of 5-bed breakfast in a specific area which I'm specifying, which is Testilier. Now when I do this, if I send me this, give me a list of 5-bed and breakfast in Trastevere, and it's giving me a response that I'm here to help you plan your trip, but I don't have a real-time access to specific listings or booking information for bed and breakfast in this. However, I can suggest you some popular bed and breakfast in this, and they are showing me certain names there. So as per the instruction, this particular system message is actually working perfectly fine. It's not giving me any kind of links or some configurations with that. Now the thing which you need to understand here is this model is actually providing you list of hotels here. Now obviously this Domains, Clara, Residential, San Castillo, these are actually the name of the hotels, and they are giving you that before booking you recommend reading reviews from other travelers also. Now even though I clearly mention here that you should not provide any hotel, flight or rental car or restaurant recommendations, they are still providing this because I have asked for that. This is something which is an example of inconsistent behavior. So that's the reason. Let's understand if fine-tuning model is going to behave proper in this kind of a cases. So we do not want this kind of inconsistent behavior, and that is where fine-tuning is coming into the picture and is going to help you in this. So let me go back to my fine-tuning section. The status of this particular fine-tuning is still running. I have to wait until this is completed. So let's wait for some time. Okay, so now finally I am back to my fine-tune model which is available here. You can see that the status of this fine-tuning is actually completed, which means that my fine-tuning with that particular model is done. I'm going to click on this particular fine-tune model, and the next thing which I want you to see right now is this is something which is completed. It's showing me that there is a section called metrics, and this is going to show me that what kind of model is this. This metrics are actually going to show me that whether this is fine-tuning properly done or not. Now you can see right now there is a section called loss, there is a section called token accuracy. Now these are the sessions which are actually showing you whether your fine-tuning is properly worked or not. Now I'm not going into in-depth right now in this metrics section, but this is something which is showing me that my fine-tuning is completed successfully. What I'm going to do now is there is a button here which is showing me deploy. Remember, if you want to use this model, you have to deploy the fine-tune model. So I'm going to click on deploy. It's giving me an option here that which one you want to try. So deployment name will be GPT-35 Turbo FT Travel. This is the name of my fine tuning. And the deployment type I'm choosing standard, which is fine. It's showing me this is going to be connected with which Azure OpenAI service connection. I'm choosing the same one. And I want to reduce the tokens per minute rate to 5K. Once all these things are good, I think we are good to go with this. Let me just disable dynamic quota and we'll click on deploy. So same like my base model, this is a fine-tuned model which I'm deploying right now. Okay, this will be done very soon. So maybe it's going to take a few minutes of time, and the deployment of fine-tuning model is done. Then you can use that. Let's wait for some time. You can see the deployment is going on. In the provisioning state, it's showing me creating. So I will wait for some time once this is successfully done. Let me tell you one more thing right now. Right now, the topic which we are understanding is the fine-tuning of your GPT model. Now, fine-tuning is a good thing or bad? This is one of the questions which most people ask. Well, the answer is this is a good thing because it is actually going to take your data, and on top of your data, which you have given into this model, it will be trained, which is a good thing. But there is one particular drawback of fine-tuning, which is this is time-consuming as well as expensive. Yes, of course. When you do this fine-tuning, you are going to use a compute power to train your model. That's the reason if this model training is going to take few minutes or few hours, you have a cost associated with that. So remember, fine-tuning is expensive and time-consuming, but it is worth doing when you want to apply your own data. Also, there is another question which people ask me is there any other alternative way which is available? Well, yes, we have an alternative way which is known as RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation, and I'm going to create one video on this tomorrow, so you are going to get this video tomorrow. Tomorrow, RAG is going to be alternative of fine-tuning. There are pros and cons. Fine-tuning is easy. RAG is little complex. Fine-tuning is something which is expensive as well as time-consuming when you do the model training, while RAG is something which is faster as well as is not going to be that much expensive. So there are pros and cons. In my case, based on my past experience, most of the corporate clients are going to be using fine-tuning as well as RAG both. So it's worth learning both of the topics. Okay, now you can see that it's showing me provisioning state is succeeded. It took almost 4 minutes for me to complete this particular one. So this is actually successfully deployed. And if it is deployed, let's open in Playground. Remember, this is not a base model. This time, this is a fine-tuned model. So we are going to ask the same question to test whether this fine-tuned model is behaving properly and is working fine or not. You can see in this left side section where I have GPT-35 Turbo, this is FT Fine-Tuned Travel version 1. This is a model which I'm going to use. Let me ask the same question which I have asked earlier first. What can you do? Okay, it's showing me I can help you to plan your business destination, attractions, activities, and multiple things. Let me do one thing. We are going to copy and paste the same thing which is here. So we are going to provide this kind of a system message here, which is you are an AI assistant, and this time we are strictly specifying that you should not provide any hotel, flight, or rental car kind of a thing. So this is something which is already there. I think we already applied changes on this also, so that is perfectly fine. Now I'm asking similar kind of questions. So the next question which I will ask is, where in a Rome should I stay? Remember last time when we tried certain things, it was giving me a list of the hotels or places actually there. Now it's saying that are you looking for near iconic landmarks? So this kind of a question they are giving me. They are not giving me any restaurant names here, which is good. Then I'm going to ask a second one, which is we did last time also, which is I'm mostly there for the food. Where should I stay to be within working distance of affordable restaurants? This was the second thing which we asked. You can also compare this answers which we are getting, these completions which we are getting with the previous one which we have done. So you can see slightly change. This time it's showing me for food focused in Rome. You might enjoy this place names. So these are the neighborhoods which they are saying. So this is also perfect. This is the same thing. And now let me try the third one where I'm saying that give me a list of 5 bed and breakfast in Trastevere. So let me just send this. Now it's saying why I can't provide a real-time listing. You can offer this thing, and in this it's showing me the same 5 things into this. Now they are also showing me the difference between this. So they are showing me the 5 places which were there earlier also, and this is showing me the 5 places which are here also. Now basically when we are trying to fine tune this model, whether this is working or not is something which is based on this particular configuration. Now as I said, based on this particular model customization and the data which you have provided, if this is not giving you the hotel names in that is something which we wanted. But even with this fine tuning and all, this is something which is not perfect, which means that maybe we have to add more data and we have to fine tune that model. Now this is also something which is one of the common issue which happens with the fine tuning of the model, that it's mostly going to be behaving with your default nature of the base model actually, and that's something which is a limitation. While on the other hand, if you're going to use other options, which I said like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, that's actually going to focus on the top of the data which you're providing in the grounded context. So we'll see that thing in the tomorrow's video. I hope you understood the concept of fine tuning. I hope you understood the pros and cons also. And remember, this is my new model which we have used right now. The older model was GPT-35 Turbo, which is base. This is a fine-tuned model which I'm using. But yeah, if you are going to try this thing practically, just make sure it is going to be involving with a lot of cost, and it is also going to be time consuming. So make sure you understand this properly, and if you need this, then only you're going to do this. That's it for today. Thank you so much, guys. This is Maruti signing out. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy learning.